My girlfriend of 2 years was juggling multiple guys. I found out, and through her, the perfect birthday party, male 28 here, been with Claire, a female 26, for about 2 years, thought I'd found the one. She's gorgeous, funny, seemed genuinely into me. We've been talking about moving in together. I was planning adding to propose on her birthday next month. Then last Tuesday happened. I was picking up Clara's friend Maya from the airport. Clara was stuck at work again and asked for my help. I had a few drinks on the flight and was more talkative than usual. She started going on about how impressed she was with Clara's time management skills and how she doesn't know how Clara keeps all her boys straight. I laughed it off at first, thinking he meant her male friends from college, but Maya kept going. She mentioned how Clara showed her this detailed calendar app she uses to track her date, different color codes for Derek blue, Nathan green, and Oliver red. Maya thought it was hilarious how Clara would schedule them so they never overlapped. My stomach felt like I'd swallowed concrete. Maya and must have seen my face change because she suddenly went quiet and asked if I knew about Clara's system. When I said I had no idea what she was talking about, Maya went pale and started backtracking, claiming she was just joking, but the damage was done. I spent that whole drive in silence while Maya kept apologizing and begging me not to tell Clara she'd said anything. I dropped Maya off and went straight home. Clara wasn't back yet, so I started thinking over the past few months. There had been signs I'd ignored. Her phone was always face down, and she'd gotten weird about me, even glancing at it. Work emergencies that happened at odd hours, especially weekends. She'd started being more distant physically, like she was saving her energy for someone else. Random new inside jokes and references I didn't understand. I confronted her when she got home around 11 p.m. She immediately went on the offensive, calling me paranoid and insecure. Casual plus with a different Gmail account, color-coded entries. Derek dinner at Romano 7 p.m. That was last Friday, when she told me she was having drinks with coworkers. Nathan weekend getaway, planning the same weekend. She told me she was visiting her sick and Oliver morning coffee plus shopping last Sunday, when she said she was going to yoga, and there were future entries. Law. It's of them, including one for this coming Saturday. Derek overnight at his place. I screenshot everything and backed out of the app. My hands were actually shaking. Here's the thing, I'm not the type to scream and throw things. Never have been. When I get hurt, I get quiet, I get calculating, and looking at that calendar, something cold settled in my chest. Clara's birthday is in 10 days. She's been planning this big party for weeks, inviting all our friends or coworkers' family. She's been so excited about it, constantly talking about how it's going to be the perfect 9. I've decided she's right. It is going to be perfect. I haven't confronted her again. I've been acting completely normal, maybe even more affectionate than usual. Meanwhile, I've been doing some research. Derek works at the marketing from downtown and found his LinkedIn through Clara's Facebook friends. Nathan is a personal trainer at the gym across town. She's tagged in some of his Instagram posts from months ago. Oliver is our college friend who's apparently been back in town for the past 6 months. Here's my plan. I'm going to invite all 3 of them to Clara surprise birthday party. I've created a fake Facebook account and started separate group chats with each of them posing as Clara's cousin who's helping plan the surprise. I've told each one that Clara mentioned them specifically as someone she'd love to have there. The party is at our shared friend Mike's place. He's in on it now. Showed him the screenshots, and he's furious on my behalf. I've made sure each of them will arrive at different times, about 20 minutes apart. Derek at 7, Nathan at 7:20. Oliver at 7:40. Clara thinks she's arriving at 8 for her small gathering with close friends. I want to see her face when she realizes all her worlds are colliding at once. I want the awkward overlap to be so obvious that even Clara can't talk her way out of it. Reddit. Am I taking this too far? Part of me feels guilty for being so calculated about it, but every time I look at her lying to my face about where she's going every time she kisses me, and I know she was probably with someone else hours before the guilt fades. She made her choice, now she gets to live with the consequences at it. For those asking about I haven't talked to her since that night. I think she genuinely didn't mean to spill. But I'm not protecting her from the fallout either. If she wanted to stay out of it, she shouldn't have bragged about Clara's system in the first place. Update 1. Well, Reddit, your boy's been busy. First off, thanks for all the support on my last post. Even the people telling me to just dump her and move on. I get it, and maybe you're right. But I've come this far, and honestly, the planning has been therapeutic. It's giving me something to focus on besides the fact that my entire relationship has been a lie. So, here's what's happened since all three guys have confirmed they're coming. Derek was enthusiastic, said he's been wanting to meet Clara's college friends and family. Nathan was a bit more cautious but agreed when I mentioned that Clara had specifically asked about him. Oliver took the longest to convince. Turns out he's not just paranoid, he's smart. He asked a lot of questions about who else would be there and how I got his contact info. I had to get creative with Oliver. I found out through some Instagram stalking that he works in tech, specifically cybersecurity. So I appealed to his logical side, sending him screenshots of Clara's supposed Facebook messages about wanting to reconnect with old friends now that she's getting more serious about settling down. The settling down part wasn't even a lie. She's been dropping hints about our future constantly, while literally scheduling other dude. Meanwhile, Clara has been acting weird lately, and I think Maya might have warned her that something's up. Clara keeps asking me random questions like, you tell me if something was bothering you, right? And you know I love you more than anything, right? The manipulation is almost impressive. Last night, she initiated physical intimacy for the first time in weeks, and afterward, she started crying and saying how scared she is about us growing apart. She said she's been feeling insecure lately and worried that I might leave her. The freaking audacity. But I played along, told her she was being silly, that I love her, that nothing could come between us. She fell asleep in my arms, and I just lay there thinking about how she'd been with Nathan the night before. My friend Mike, whose place we're using, is being incredible about this. He's normally a pretty straightforward guy, not one for drama, but he's genuinely pissed off on my behalf. He said Clara fooled him too. He always thought she was perfect for me. Mike's helping me coordinate the timing. He's going to make sure Derek gets there first and gets settled in. Then Nathan arrives and Mike will introduce them as Clara's friends. Let them figure out the overlap themselves. By the time Oliver shows up, there should already be some awkward energy in the room. Mike also suggested recording some of it, but I shut that down. This isn't about humiliating her online or getting revenge porn. This is about truth. I want Clara to face the reality of what she's been doing, and I want the other guys to know they're being played too. I keep getting comments asking if I'm okay. Hey, if this is healthy, etc. Honestly, I feel more clear-headed than I have in months. All those times I felt crazy for being suspicious. All those nights I lay awake wondering why she seemed distant. It all makes sense now. The party is this Saturday. Clara is so excited she can barely contain herself. She bought a new dress, got her nails done, even took Friday off work to prepare. She has no idea that Derek, Nathan, and Oliver are all planning to be there. Part of me wonders if she'll figure it out when she sees them all together. Will she try to play it off, claim they're just friends, or will she finally break and admit what she's been doing? Honestly, I'm curious to see which version of Clara shows up when her Carefully constructed world starts falling apart. I'll update you all after the party. The anticipation is killing me, but in the best possible way. Edit. Someone asked what I'm going to do if she tries to turn this around on me. Claim I'm the crazy one for stalking her and inviting her friends without permission. I've thought about this. I have screenshots of everything. If she wants to play victim, I'm ready. A few people are asking if I feel bad for Derek, Nathan, and Oliver Honor. Slee a little. They might be just as clueless as I was. But they're also adults who chose to be involved with someone they knew had a boyfriend. Update to Reddit. We're less than 24 hours away from what might be the most spectacular shit. You have my life. But first, some unexpected developments that have me questioning everything Clara's been acting strange, not just the guild-induced affection I mentioned before. She's been genuinely upset about something all week. Yesterday, I caught her crying in the bathroom, and when I asked what was wrong, she just hugged me and said she was scared about something changing. At first, I thought I had definitely warned her, but then Clara said something that made me pause. What if you found out I wasn't who you thought I was? Would you still love me? For a second, I almost told her I already knew everything and asked if she wanted to come clean. But then she got a text from Nathan based on the timing, and her whole demeanor shifted back to normal. Whatever moment we were having, it was gone. Remember how I said Oliver was the cautious one? Well, Derek starting to ask questions too. He reached out to cousin Sarah, my fake account, yesterday asking for Sarah's phone number so he could coordinate the surprise better. I deflected, saying Clara would be suspicious if random family members started calling. But then Derek said something that made my blood run cold. It's just weird that Clara's never mentioned having a cousin Sarah, especially one she's close enough with to help plan party shit. I might have overcomplicate. He did this. I did some quick damage control, claiming I'm actually a family friend who's like a cousin, and that Clara probably refers to me by my real name around friends. Derek seemed to accept it, but I can tell he's more alert now. Nathan's gift choice is perfect. Nathan messaged Sarah a photo of the Chanel perfume bottle. Oh, it's the exact same fragrance Derek bought her last month. But here's where it gets interesting. Nathan added, I hope she doesn't already have this. Her boyfriend seems like the type who'd buy her nice stuff. Her boyfriend. That's me. He knows about me. And he's still doing this. Any sympathy I might have had for these guys is evaporating fast. Oliver called Sarah yesterday and said he wanted to discuss Clara's gift in person because it's complicated and involves helping her with a problem she mentioned. I had to quickly make an excuse about being out of town. But Oliver was persistent. He said Clara had confided in him about relationship troubles, and he wanted to do something meaningful for her birthday that might help relationship troubles. She's been talking to Oliver about our relationship while she's cheating on me with him. I'm starting to realize that Clara might be more manipulative than I initially thought. She's not just juggling multiple guys for fun. She's playing as all against each other, creating drama, and probably feeding off the chaos. My friend Mike pulled me aside yesterday and asked if I was absolutely sure about this plan. He said he's been thinking about it all week, and he's worried about the follow. What if this destroys her? He asked, what if she never recovers from the humiliation? I showed my more screenshots from Clara's phone, including some messages I hadn't seen before where she's actually mocking me. To Nathan, calling me clinging and naive, laughing about how I helped her pick out lingerie that she was planning to wear for Derek. Mike's concerns disappeared pretty quickly after that. The party timeline is locked in. I've invited about 15 other people, our mutual friends, some of Clara's coworkers, and a few family members, enough of an audience that Clara can't just quietly excuse herself, but not so many that it becomes complete chaos. as I also printed out some of the most damning screenshots and put them in an envelope in my car. If Clara tries to deny everything or turn it around on me, I want the evidence ready. But honestly, I don't think I'll need them. This isn't about revenge anymore. It's about truth, and Clara is going to have to face it tomorrow, whether she wants to or not. I'll post the final update after the party. Wish me luck. Read it tomorrow one way or another. This all ends. Final update. The party happened. It's over. Clara and I are over, and honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about any of it, but you've been with me through this whole thing, so you deserve to know how it ended. 6:30 p.m. Mike and I got to his place early to set up simple decorations. Nothing too elaborate. Clara had been expecting a small intimate gathering, so we kept it that way. Mike was nervous as hell, kept asking if I was sure about this. I told him it was too late to back down now, but honestly my stomach was in knot. Derek arrived at 7:00 p.m. right on time, showed up with white roses and an expensive bottle of wine. He was dressed really well, better than I'd ever seen. Clara's friends dress for parties. This was clearly important to him. I stopped. Rated feeling sick. At 7:20 p.m. Nathan walked in and immediately locked eyes with Derek. There was this moment of confusion, like they recognized each other, but couldn't figure out from where. Nathan had the perfume and also brought this elaborate gift bag with what looked like workout gear and site. He mentioned to make their Clara had been working so hard on her fitness goals, and he wanted to support that. Derek overheard and said, "Oh, Clara works out. She never mentioned that to me." The tension started immediately. Then our mutual friends started showing up. Clara's coworkers, a few family members, normal party atmosphere, people mingling, music playing. Derek and Nathan kept gravitating toward each other, asking subtle questions. This is where things got complicated fast. Oliver walked in carrying a huge gift bag and immediately scanned the room like he was looking for someone specific. Then Oliver walked straight up to me. "You're Adrian, aren't you?" he said. Not a question, a statement. I nodded, and Oliver said, "We need to talk now." He pulled me aside and said, "Clara have been telling him about our relationship problems for weeks. She'd been saying I was controlling, that she was planning to break up with me after her birthday, that she needed emotional support during this difficult transition." Oliver thought he was helping her escape a bad relationship. I decided to rip the band-aid off. I told Oliver about the calendar, about Derek and Nathan, about everything I discovered. Oliver went dead silent for about 30 seconds. Then he said, "She told me she was only seeing you and that it was ending soon." We walked back over to Derek and Nathan. I introduced Oliver as another one of Clara's close friends and watched the pieces click into place for all three of them. Derek asked Oliver how long he'd known Clara. Oliver said about 6 months. Nathan said he'd been seeing her for about the same time. Derek went completely pale and said seeing her like dating. The conversation that followed was surreal. 3 grown men comparing notes about the same woman, realizing they'd all been lied to in different ways. None of them knew about the others. Clara had been managing 3 separate storylines. Around 8 p.m. Clara walked in laughing, gorgeous in her new dress, completely unsuspecting. She hugged me first, then started making rounds to greet people. I watched her spot Derek by the gift table. Her face lit up, and she went over to hug him, a long, intimate hug that made our mutual friends exchange glances. Then she saw Nathan across the room, and her smile faltered for just a second, but she recovered quickly and went to greet him too. But when she spotted Oliver near the back patio, she stopped dead in her tracks. 3 seconds. That's how long it took for Clara to realize her entire world was collapsing. Clara tried to play it off. At first introduced Derek as her friend from work and Nathan as trainer. She couldn't figure out how to explain Oliver, so she just didn't. But Derek and Nathan had already compared notes. When Clara tried to downplay their relationships, Derek spoke up. Clara, why didn't you tell me you were still seriously involved with Adrian? You said you guys were basically roommates at this point. The entire party went quiet. You know that moment in movies where the music stops and everyone stares? It was exactly like that. Clara looked at me with pure panic in her eyes. Adrian, I can explain. But Nathan cut her off. Wait, what do you mean seriously involved? Clara told me they were breaking up after the birthday party. Then Oliver stepped forward. She told me the same thing, said she just needed to get through this party and then she'd be free. Clara looked like a trapped animal. She tried to laugh it off, said there were some misunderstandings and we should talk about this privately. But Derek wasn't having it. Misunderstandings? Clara, we've been sleeping together for 3 months. You told me you loved me. That's when Clara completely lost it. She started crying, then screaming, then trying to blame everyone else. She said Derek was obsessive and have misinterpreted their relationship. She said Nathan was just her trainer and they'd only hung out as friends. And she said Oliver was a creep who had been pursuing her despite her having a boyfriend. But Oliver pulled out his phone and started reading text messages. Clara telling him she loved him. Clara asking him to be patient while she dealt with Adrian. Clara making plans for them to go away together after her birthday. The evidence was undeniable. 3 things happened almost simultaneously. Derek and Nathan both laughed. Af just walked out without saying another word to anyone. Oliver stayed longer, but only to apologize to me. He said he genuinely thought he was helping Clara leave an unhappy relationship, and he felt terrible about being part of her deception. Clara locked herself in Mike's bathroom and refused to come out. Our friends and family were stunned. Clara's coworkers quietly made excuses and left. Her sister stayed in, tried to cope out of the bathroom, but Clara just kept sobbing and saying her life was ruined. Around 10:30 p.m. Clara finally came out of the bathroom, makeup destroyed, looking completely defeated. Most people had left by then. Just me, Mike, Clara's sister, and 2 of our closest mutual friends remained. She begged me to let her explain, said she'd been confused about what she wanted, that she loved me, but was shared of commitment, that the other relationships didn't mean anything. But I was done. I told her about the calendar, about Maya's slip-up, about everything I discovered. Clara's face went through about 6 different emotions: shock, anger, fear, and finally something that might have been relief. You knew, she whispered, this whole time you knew. I nodded and told her about the fake cousin Sarah, about Cordy,